How to Save Hollywood. Make fun movies. This is from the New York Times. I'll bring the story up. I know we have notes. It seems obvious, but Hollywood has not really been doing that. Badger, you've got the notes.
Mm-hmm. This is from Roy Price. Mr. Price is the chief executive of International Art Machine, an entertainment studio, and was previously the head of Amazon Studios. Project Hail Mary opened with 80 million domestically, making it the biggest debut for a non-sequel, non-franchise film since Oppenheimer in 2023. It's also a milestone for Amazon MGM Studios, marking their first major theatrical hit. 2026 box office is up 20% year over year, fueled by hits like Avatar, Fire and Ash, The Housemaid, Scream 7, and Wuthering Heights. Theaters aren't dead. Audiences just needed movies worth leaving the couch for. We're exiting a recent era, roughly 2016 to 2023, the darkest of times, 2016 through 2023, where films leaned heavily on political and social messaging. Comedies, rom-coms, and erotic thrillers declined. Studios became more risk-averse and cautious. During this time, even though prestige films thrived, like Nomadland, fun, irreverent entertainment took a back seat. The disappearance and return of fun. Comedy releases dropped significantly after 2016. Genres like rom-coms and edgy humor nearly vanished. Hollywood prioritized cultural impact over audience enjoyment. Now, that trend may be reversing. Hollywood appears to be splitting into two lanes. One, prestige, message-driven films, awards-focused, like One Battle After Another. Or two, big crowd-pleasing entertainment, like Project Hail Mary. Recent successes show that and suggest the second lane is gaining serious momentum. Sydney Sweeney is a symbol of this shift, helping revive romantic comedies and erotic thrillers. Hollywood may be rediscovering something simple but powerful. Audiences want to have fun again. Serious films aren't going away, but the successes of Project Hail Mary signals that entertainment-first movies are back in a big way.
What do you guys think? I think it's kind of obvious. This isn't really, but it's what's interesting is the mainstream is finally saying kind of what we've been saying.
I mean, are all these sequels and remakes supposed to be an attempt to make movies fun? I mean, that's kind of like, I feel like that's sort of been their method as of late, but I don't think it's exactly worked.
I think when you look at like Project Hail Mary, it was like a glass of cold water in a desert. You know, I mean, this first quarter of 2026, we had a couple highlights.
F1 was a refreshing one.
The Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die was great. But Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, which I think only Alan and I have seen.
I'm dying to see it.
Dude, as a filmmaker, Rob, you need to see that movie.
I ordered the Blu-ray.
It's a movie 18 years in the making.
Yeah.
When you find out how they made it, it's like watching old Hollywood, like those silent films where it looks like they're doing a magic trick. Like, how did they do this? You will be shocked when you see it. But what are your thoughts on this? Seems really obvious, so it's not groundbreaking.
Yeah. Having a diverse amount of films just has always seemed to make sense. If you want to do something specific with a limited range of an audience, well, you'd have to adjust your budget and your to match, like these smaller indie films, horror films. Like, they know how to do that. They know their business. But yeah, like, there are just some genres that if you want to have a big budget, well, then you'd probably want as much of an audience as you can muster. And those are usually the mass appeal films. And those, unfortunately, of late have just been content and just poorly thought out and just cash grabs, soulless cash grabs. So we want good films of every kind, and if we have different tastes too, but for these big ones, to appeal to as much of an audience as they want, I mean, then just write a good story that's well made, well thought out, and make it worth the price of admission for people to come out and see.
I agree. Like Hollywood is all about diversity, but we get lack of diverse movies. Like with what I mean by that is like different genres of movies. I wouldn't mind them bringing back, romantic comedies, but they don't make those anymore because women have to be self-sufficient and don't need no man. So we don't get, romantic comedies or even romantic movies anymore. They're very few and far between. I know that like that movie Reminders of Him that's in the theater right now, it's by Colleen Hoover. They're trying to use like Colleen Hoover to bring back romantic movies to theaters because she's so huge on Book Talk. They are now like doing a lot of her books to movies. The problem is that her books are like very, very bland. But it's working. It is working. I mean, people are going and seeing her movies and they're very successful. So I guess they're trying to bring that back, but a lack of only focusing on like big budget movies, superhero movies, remakes, Disney live action remakes. It's not going to bring people to the theater because it does feel like very studio made movies. They lack all of that magic that they once had before with the original movies that came out previously, and people are tired of it, so they're just not going to waste their money to go see it. And I think that like when you have movies like Project Hail Mary that come out, and it's getting rave reviews, word of mouth carries those movies, so you have people going to see the movie and enjoying the movie and having fun with the movie. And when you have multiple movies that are original and that are written very well, that have a great cast and are performed very well, it's going to be successful. And you have to have that in all of these different genres. People are like, you can't have fun anymore, so they took out comedies. Oh, women have to be self-sufficient, so they took out so they stopped making romance movies and romantic comedies. And I think that like now people are kind of signaling like, we're really ready to go back to the theater. Just give us something good, give us something that will bring us back to the theater. And hopefully, I don't know, but like with the Naked Gun movie was really fun. I've never seen any of the originals, but like that one was fun, and I think that, like,
Watch the originals.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen the originals, but I mean that one was actually, it was really fun. It was funny, so people are ready to see comedy. The Wayans brothers are coming back and making another scary movie, and hopefully, that will take jabs at so many people, so many genres. And I think I'm honestly hoping that that'll be successful, just because now it'll tell Hollywood like, okay, we can take risks now. Let's just go back to making a whole bunch of movies with under all of these different genres, and start taking risks again, because it's the lack of risk. That's why everything that comes out is attached to an IP, because there's like a lack of risking to make a movie in Hollywood. They don't want to lose any money, so they just attach something to an IP and put it out, and it's a complete soulless movie made by a committee, and it's just lacking everything that you want in a movie. So you just like, why bother going? It's going to be on streaming in a month anyways. I'll just wait until then.
Chris, I've seen a double feature almost every week of this year, and I've seen a lot of I've seen bad double features and good double features. But one of the things that's interesting, our viewer just brought up, you highlighted the comment about Undertone. Mm-hmm. Undertone was a film that was shot. The director shot it in his own house, made for $500,000, and it's already made millions of dollars.
18 million on a
$500 or $500,000 spend. Let's call it $2 million marketing. That's a huge return. Markiplier's Iron Lung, which I didn't like very much. That movie made when I went in to see that film, it was pretty packed, and it was all people that knew Markiplier and knew what he was doing. And he cultivated his own YouTube audience, which is over, across platforms, or over 40 million people. That movie's made if it's past $50 million, $50 million, and he spent $3 million of his own money. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't love that film, but more power to him. He cultivated his audience. And, a movie called Cold Storage that I went and saw was a throwback to 80s horror. And that film was a lot of fun. I haven't seen a creature feature like that in a theater in a long time. And also, I have to say, what was the movie? Primate. Yeah. I really liked Primate. It was a slasher movie with a problem monkey. Even that was entertaining. Not a whole lot of money. I saw Julia Ducournau's follow-up to Tane and Raw Alpha this past weekend, which I did not like, but it was a handsome movie. Probably didn't cost a lot of money. But I think what you were just saying earlier, we don't have people that know stories anymore. We just don't have people. We don't have people. The people that are working in the business do not know enough about movies. It's weird to say, but they don't know what kind of movies should get made. I mean, Project Hail Mary was based on a great book, which is what Hollywood used to do. They used to take great books that came out and adapt them. But the problem is there aren't very many great books being written anymore. I watched a great YouTube video that basically the publishing industry is in the same place that the movie industry is. You've got all of these people that are chasing ideology and don't know what makes a great story. And that's why you like, I'm watching, I don't know if you guys watch the TV series Paradise.
I don't know.
It had finale. Paradise is what I love to call a great airport read. It has 2 seasons, 8 episodes a season. It's a lot of fun, really well made, really well acted. Is it going to win any Academy Awards? No, but it's really entertaining and it's really good. When I saw Cold Storage, I was like, this reminded me of Night of the Comet, Return of the Living Dead, the Blob remake that Chuck Russell made. It was a creature feature, and I had a blast, and the people in it had a blast. Yeah, I mean, in the theater when we were watching it, we had a great time watching that film. It kind of came and went, but I just don't think that Hollywood knows how to make movies anymore. I mean, they physically know, but they don't know what movies to make. And there's an interesting video of Larry Fink from BlackRock, who admits that BlackRock, the biggest investment company in the world, trillions of dollars, they were pushing DEI.
If you want to change the culture, you have to see that culture reflected everywhere.
Yep.
The culture of a company, but they extrapolated that to the goddamn country, which is why we got 10 years of it being everywhere.
Yeah, and he flat out admits it, and it didn't work. And the thing is, like The Bride being made for 90 million, no, The Bride should have been made for 20 million, but not 90 million. Yeah, I was really disappointed in that film.
It was terrible.
And that movie, I think, was made for the wrong reasons. But you had a lot of, I understand, on paper, you had a lot of great cast, but there needs to, that film, everyone lost their shirt on that. And it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Rob, don't forget the other part of that interview with Fink. He also said that he's basically scapegoating. He's saying that, we just did what our investors wanted us to do.
Yep.
Right. So he's not even taking blame. He's not even taking ownership for what they did.
That was the controversy. No, they didn't even know what their money was being spent on.
Which is BS.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but it's that kind of thinking in general. I mean, Hollywood worked for 100 years. It's not like but what's happened is even the consumer base is not looking for, everybody wants to see themselves represented somehow. Somebody was talking to me about microaggressions in Star Trek from the 60s. And I'm like, no, people are more in the Star Trek future. People are just more mature than you are. And they're able to get over their microaggressions. But I do think that it's amazing to me that there are so many great material. There's so much great material that why hasn't someone made a movie of Donna Tartt's The Secret History? Here's a book that came out that the rights have passed around for been 30 years. Where's that movie? Great book. I think that movie would be a zeitgeist film, especially for anybody in college or out. Where's that?
Yeah,
Whatever happened to people?
But this DEI representation thing has been twisted, man. Look, for the longest time, Hollywood has not been great to people who weren't white. I mean, let's be honest. Up until like maybe the early 2000s, right? I mean, there was a reason why in the 90s, 80s, they were called black films, right? Because the studios didn't see any value in making a big budget black movie for the most part. Don't get me wrong. You had your Eddie Murphys, by the way, 2 guys. You might have had 2 or 3 guys who were like the guy, but for the most part, they weren't great about it, right? So when black folks said they wanted like more representation, they didn't mean take roles away or take characters away from white people. It meant create new characters, create new opportunities. Don't take away from, right? And the easiest thing to do, the laziest thing to do is just to rip off somebody else or to take what someone else has, right? And that's what Hollywood has done.
Let me
also happy for that. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me share something here that relates to what we're talking about. If you would read this, Badger.
Amazon Studios founder Roy Price on why Hollywood went into decline. An unmistakable censoriousness of fear and saying or doing the wrong thing seemed to settle over the creative process. Cultural and political considerations played an outsized role, not only in what movies got made, but in how success for these movies was defined. What didn't seem to matter as much, making sure that audiences were filling seats.
Yeah. And of course, Amazon Studios just did Project Hail Mary.
The two lanes he gave people prestige with awards. What he really was saying is the people they're going to double down on the message, even though it's failed, because yes, it's representation, but then it's how's that representation written, and like how much of it is it? Like Starfleet Academy is a great, like, did you have the gay Klingon? Yes. And then you also had the gay engineering teacher, and you had the gay command officer that they're married, and then you had Darim, who was basically closeted gay and in love with in other words, well over the representation quota.
Well, you know what, and you know what, Badger, that's fine if they did something like what Chris said, right? If they had like a sparkle version of their studio and they wanted to make gay sci-fi, then fine, make gay sci-fi, but don't take Star Trek's name and attach it to that.
Yeah, but they don't see it as they think that this is the future. Literally, everything is gay and trans. So to them, it's normalized. That's that. And then if we don't like it, we're toxic, and you're homophobic.
But we're talking about saving Hollywood. I don't think. Look, we talk about this stuff a lot, but I don't think movies are in trouble. Okay, I think theaters are in trouble. I think movies will still be made. The movies at this point are just content. They're just product, and every streaming service is going to have product, right? So movies will still get made. I mean, whether they're good or not, who knows? But theaters are the things that are in trouble here. Not so much Hollywood itself, but going to the theater.
But that's only because theaters were reliant on Hollywood to fill them with stories that, and look, I haven't seen an audience respond to a movie like Project Hail Mary is a populist science fiction novel, a story that, as I've said, and Nerd Cookies knows this, I read that book in one sitting. I love the book, and I thought the movie was about 85% of what I hoped it would be, which is pretty good. I would like to have amped up the peril a little bit more. I'm sure that the longer version of the film, if they release a longer version, I'll probably like it better. Same with The Martian. But the thing is, I watched people in that theater have a good time. You felt it. And people who watch that, the relationship between Rocky and Ryan and Ryland Grace, and even Strat when she sings Harry Styles, this was all very effective storytelling. And it's what we used to get in the theaters all the time. And it was whether you were watching something like, I mean, if you just threw out your favorite movies of the last, like you think about Paramount in 1984 gave us Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Beverly Hills Cop within a few months of each other. You know, these are two very different movies, absolutely populist in their approach. You know, a movie where Eddie Murphy came in, it was going to be a Stallone film. Eddie Murphy comes in, takes over, gives us a star-making performance following up another Paramount movie, 48 Hours. And that movie was a great blend of comedy, legitimate action. There's great action in Beverly Hills Cop. There's a great car chase at the beginning. There's a great shootout. And it's really funny, and it gives us great characters. How is this a formula that has somehow been lost? I mean, that movie came out 42 years ago.
Some might say intentionally thrown away and ignored.
Well, I would agree.
It used to be that Hollywood would make movies to entertain audiences. Now they make movies to preach to audiences, to tell you how you should be living, how you should be thinking, and how they think the world should be. And shame on you if you don't think so.
Or for themselves. They want to see themselves in the stories. And again, just not thinking about about the story and stuff that we want to watch, just the audiences want to watch.
See, but I don't think people want to see themselves in movies. I think somehow they got it in their heads that people want to see themselves in movies, which again goes to the preaching aspect of it. You know, the world isn't completely white, so therefore we should not have all white people in the movie. You know, that's the.
But we
thinking
were
model.
on an evolutionary path that all of that was changing. I
Right.
mean, we
We're
watched
close.
Not quick enough, I guess,
and it
for
was
them.
completely derailed in the mid 20s.
They have set themselves back 20 years on actual like gay rights progress and racial relations. So fucking no racism. Like literally it was nothing. So someone saying something actually racist was such a rarity. You could see the humor in how we talked about it in the movies we used to make, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Look,
I also think really quickly, I think Hollywood was sold a bill of goods, right? I think, look, with any business, you got to keep, you know, new customers coming in. They were sold this myth of the modern audience, right? They were sold the myth of this, saying that, hey, you know what? The audience you had that loved these movies are getting older and dying out, right? We need new people. We need the kids, right? So they were sold on that this modern audience wants DEI, that they want, you know, just a bunch of woke shit, right? That's what they were sold on. And for some reason they bought it. I don't know why, after like,
because they were getting paid by
'Cause they were
State
getting
Street.
paid, yeah.
Well, I mean,
They
that goes back to
Vanguard.
the
Yeah.
whole Black
They
Rock
thought that
thing.
eventually you'll lose money at first, but eventually there will be a payoff.
And here's
right,
the
so
money.
that was the
payoff
bill of
never
goods
came.
that they were sold.
Yeah.
Right, but that goes back to the whole BlackRock. You know, we're going to loan you this money if you make movies with these diversity quotas and DEI quotas in it. But the problem is those movies didn't make money. So how are you supposed to pay back those loans?
You see, at the
Ours was
top,
invested.
there's this World Economic Forum that wants us to have nothing and live in 15-minute cities and eat bugs. But the only way we'll accept that is if we're all depressed, broken people. So we can't have heroes. So they spent 10 years systematically destroying all of our heroes in every method, all the way down to fucking Dungeons and Dragons tabletop. Convinced everyone that they shouldn't have kids because we're overpopulated. Spoiler, we're not. We're in population decline. And here we are fighting on the brink because culture is important. But yeah, it is. I hate to sound the Alex Jones, but it's just so fucking connected and obvious. That's why they did it. And then the money came from BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard to force these things they knew weren't popular. But the problem is you can't pay your way through this because we still exist.